Hey, welcome to Speak of the Devil podcast. This is Doyle.
Hey, this is Tommy Gibbons of the band FLAW, and you're watching Speak of the Devil podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Speak of the Devil podcast. We have a very special guest for you today. We have Tommy from FLAW here.
What's up?
Guitar player. We just got done watching them do a killer sound check. It's going to be an awesome show tonight. So, as we are having new guests, I would like to say welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Good to meet you. So, let's do our normal guest top three. So we're going to have Tommy here give us his top threes. And this could be all time, okay? It doesn't have to be current. It can be whenever. So
all right.
All time. So we'll start with normal bands first. Top three bands and descending from 3 to 1.
Boy. See, I got no time to think about this. Okay,
That's even better, though, because it's more real.
So number 3 would definitely be... I guess this doesn't really count as a band, but a solo artist. Buckethead is like my hero.
Buckethead, right?
2 would be Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, wow.
And number 1 would be Metallica. It's like my all-time favorite band.
Oh my God, you are in good company, my friend, because that is my number 1 band as well.
Cool.
I just saw him in Cleveland a week and a half ago.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
no way. Awesome.
So it was crazy. It was actually the first time. It's my 4th time seeing him. It was the first time I've seen him in the round.
Okay.
Because every other time I've seen him, it was like the first time was at the Pontiac Silverdome when that was still open and it was front-facing. And then I saw him at Orion, their concert that they held for a couple years in Detroit. That was front-facing. And then last year at the Tiger Stadium, but again, front-facing. And it was just, it's cool. But when you go to Metallica, they've always got like the member section.
Yeah.
So even no matter how close you get, you're always kind of back. And then when you're in the round, it's kind of different in the sense that it's like, wow, they're moving around. There wasn't really a bad seat, so it was cool.
That's sick.
And I think it's probably the first time that it's been indoor too, because when you're at these outdoor venues, it's like the sound like escapes. Into the air. But when you're in there and everyone's chanting and singing along, it's just like, oh my God! So you can hear everything. So yes, and afterwards I have my Metallica vest with me. I will be sporting after I get all sweaty myself playing with Harrowsfield. So we will move on to video games. Top 3 video games of all time.
So I guess number 3 would probably be I love the Mortal Kombat franchise.
Okay, you got to pick one of them though. Let's narrow it down.
Oh my God, really?
I got to say I'm a Mortal Kombat 2 guy.
I really love the it's like 3, but like the Ultimate 3, because the original
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, the original Mortal Kombat 3 didn't have Scorpion in it.
It didn't,
and that's Scorpion's my I don't know if I could swear here.
Oh, you can.
Oh, Scorpion's my shit. All right, so when Mortal Kombat 3. When I got the original one, and I was so mad that he wasn't in it.
Right.
So then when Ultimate came out, Scorpion was on it. I was a much happier person. I think Ultimate just had more characters in general, too.
It did have more characters, but it introduced that weird combo system, which, the first one and second one didn't have.
Right.
And some guys that do 12-hit combos.
Yeah, but I will say I'm really, really liking the modern Mortal Kombat stuff.
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat 11 will be coming out here soon.
I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah. And have you seen how they did the logo to make it look like the 11 looks like 2?
Yep.
That's awesome. So it should be a throwback a lot to that.
Yeah, so I'm stoked for that because I love the Mortal Kombat. I have XL. It has all like the DLC stuff on it. So yeah, I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Number 2, of course, I love the WWE 2K series.
Oh yes.
Just got 19. Loving it.
I like 19, but. Well, I do. I like it. I just some innovation needs to happen though.
I mean, the career mode in it is great. Like they finally went back to like kind of more like story-based career mode. I thought was really cool. I love the goofy stuff they added, like the big heads and stuff like that. Like,
and they did bring back the showcase mode, right, with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. The showcase mode is in it.
So yeah, I do like that as well.
And number 1 is Resident Evil. I am huge Resident Evil fan.
All right.
My Thank you, Dad. But my parents let me play it at a very young age, which I don't think they should have.
Right.
Because I was like that weird kid at like 5 years old when someone's getting like gutted. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. While everybody else is like screaming. And I'm like, this is the neatest thing ever. But Resident Evil, I really liked because it wasn't just a typical like I'm going to shoot this zombie. I like the puzzles and they, the twists and turns. And
the
I
true
like
sense
that.
of fear.
Yeah. So that's why I really love the last, not the remake of 2, although I love the remake of Resident Evil 2, but that Resident Evil 7. That was really cool. Like that was one of the best games I played in a while, just because it brought back that fear. Suspense back, where I felt like the previous Resident Evil games kind of went more action based, and I'm not complaining about that.
Isn't it so funny? Like, I don't know how old you are. I'm 36. I don't know how old you are, but
28.
It's like 28. Okay, so I'm a little bit older, but still harkening back, like, those old games, like the Mortal Kombat 2 and the Resident Evils, like what's old is new again. Like those games are like back.
Well, I don't think they ever like left. I just think
literal reincarnation. So like in Resident Evil 2's case.
It's really hard. I think the same thing kind of goes with music too, not to go off on a tangent here. It's really hard to be like original.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? But no, I get what you're saying though. Like, everyone's like, oh, this new Mortal Kombat game, man, that shit was cool back then.
Yeah, it was
too,
cool. But I kind of like the nostalgia factor kicking over to, it's like you get the new players playing it, and then the old players are like us. Like, yeah, I remember what it was like back then too. So that is his top 3 for video games, and now we're in great company. So we're gonna have the top 3 wrestlers.
Oh boy, this actually might be the hardest one. So number 3 would probably be. I really am a huge fan of Finn Balor.
It's funny. No bullshit. That is my number 3 as well, man.
But see, like, okay, but I'm not like a bandwagon fan where it's like, it's Finn Balor. I remember when he was in the indies scene. When he was Prince, and when he was like New Japan.
Prince Devitt.
Yeah, and the Bullet Club stuff, because I mean, honestly, like, he did a lot way cooler shit back then. They gave him more freedom.
Yeah, he was always in the paint.
I kind of feel that like they do that with a lot of like the indie guys that have come up though. Like, I mean, like AJ Styles, I feel had a lot more freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
cool now. He's the Intercontinental Champion.
Finn winning the IC title, Royal Rumble,
which I would have preferred to have him win back the Universal Championship.
Yeah, but I mean, to be realistic, could you really have a guy like Finn Balor beat Brock Lesnar? I mean,
I think so. I mean, he took it to him. No, wait. But here we go again. It's like, could Finn do it? Maybe not. But the Demon has never lost, not even one time. So that's the thing that,
But that's what you're like.
Maybe they're holding that back.
Maybe. I don't
now it's like he's going to go on this IC run. This thing is going to go 6 months.
Which is fine. I mean, if they make, because the IC title used to be that workhorse title,
right? For the performers, the guys that wrestle. I mean, so in some ways, I'm not upset.
I'm not either, because look at the people that held it. I mean, Roddy Piper, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I mean the greats.
Yeah, so I've always felt like the IC title was kind of like the stepping stone to like. If they do good with the IC title, then we'll move them up.
It's just so hard because you knew he had a run set, and then he got injured, and it just never came back. And that happens for a lot of guys, but it is
right. But it's also always about timing. I mean, him getting injured. But I mean, when I look at a WWE superstar, and as a fan, you gotta look at the total package. Like Finn Balor's a really good athlete.
He is,
and when he does the demon character, it's great.
Yeah.
But past that, when you take all the bells and whistles away, when you just hand him a microphone, it's not really all there. I feel like.
Not as the normal Finn Balor character. Yeah, it's always like maybe he's always accent or I don't know what it is, but it's somewhat
he's too much
believable.
of that. Yeah, he's too much of that. Like I fight for the underdog.
The good man's fight.
Yeah, and which is fine. But I don't think fans are really like. And I'm not trying to speak for everybody, but I'm just not into that.
Right. But they hold the demon back so much. I mean, so who knows? But I mean, obviously, I wish I could lose about 40, 50 pounds to look like him. But I've actually dressed up as Finn a few times.
That's cool.
I've done the regular demon one, but then the one that I really like the most I've done a couple times is from the old New Japan days where he did Anti-Venom from Marvel, and it was white and black.
That was cool. Right, yeah.
So my wife has the patience to actually paint me up like that. So it's awesome. Been a while since I've done it, but it's always cool when you do it. You just feel like transformed.
Absolutely.
So number 2.
I would say number 2. I would definitely have to go with Daniel Bryan. I love how they remade his character, because I mean the Yes thing was great. I mean it started a whole thing, but I felt like you know, WWE for a while lost that shock factor. I think the fact that he went heel, a lot of people were like, you would lie to me. You'd be lying if you said, "Oh, I totally saw that coming."
Right, and he's not, and it's good for him because he's not leaning on something that worked. He's not just saying, "Well, this worked," resting on his laurels. He's creating something new.
Here's something I find hilarious with the current heel face scenario. So when you take a look at like WWE's top heel, and I'm sorry, like I'm a huge wrestling buff, so I'm going to go on
Me
a
too,
tangent
man. I've been
here.
to 2 WrestleManias, man.
Here's something I find funny about like their heels. Like when you look at like why they're heels, you're kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of justified. Like take a look at Dean Ambrose for instance. He turned heel because he felt like, you know, look at Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns getting all this attention, blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of like, well, okay, it's kind of a legit reason to get mad. So Daniel Bryan turning heel because he wants to stick up for the environment. And I'm kind of like, wait, how is that really a jerk thing to do? I'm kind of confused
because he
by
shames
that.
the audience. He's so good at like, you know.
I guess, but I just find it funny where like that whole face heel thing, it's starting to become a blurred line.
It is.
You know, I mean, I think it started, I mean, it was always like that even during the Attitude Era. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out there flipping people off and drinking beer, and fans are loving that.
Where you'll never get another Stone Cold that way.
No, you won't. I'm not saying that, but
no, I know what you're saying. But yeah, I mean,
I just find it funny, like where I really feel like that there's a really blurred line between a face and a heel. Like I almost think it really is up to like whoever the fan. I mean, Becky Lynch is a great example. She was supposed to be a total heel, but fans keep cheering, so you're kind of like, okay, at this point, what do we do? CM Punk, I think, was kind of the same way too.
Well, I listen to you know, like Jim Ross's podcast and stuff like that, and Jim Ross in particular, he's always complaining that today's heels, they don't want to be heels. They don't want to do dirty stuff because they want that crowd reaction a little bit. Like Becky Lynch kind of does want that. They don't want to like totally turn the screws to the audience, but sometimes they should.
I'm kind of like,
you know?
when was the last like real heel, like real heat? Not just because like I want to boo this guy because it's funny or because I'm cool. Like I'm not a big John Cena fan, but I'm kind of like, what's the heat for? Same thing with Roman Reigns. I'm like, he might not be the most solid wrestler, but I just don't get it. Is it just because you're booing him because everybody else is, or you know? But when has there really been like the real last like, oh, that's a bad guy?
For a little while, but then just like you said, it got turned good. I thought CM Punk was kind of riding that wave before he really did that pipe bomb.
But I think again, it's like it's almost like up to the fans to really. It's almost like they really do
pipe
pick
bomb,
and choose.
But you remember the pipe bomb?
Of course.
I mean, that was pretty heelish, and that was real.
But again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. The things he was saying, were they really wrong though? Like you kind of shrug your shoulders and go, eh.
Because that's the point, is that, you know, when finally someone says something heelish, it's like, yes, it's speaking the truth, rather than heels should be like that all the time. They should always be against the bad guys.
I think it comes down to, like, WWE's really lost track of, like, that whole, like, where's the character storyline? Like, you know what's been missing is the long-term booking has been gone.
Yeah.
Like, I remember... Like,
oh, yeah, of course.
Like now it's like, oh, I get a notification on my app. Hey, so-and-so, Brock Lesnar is wrestling Randy Orton. But why? Where did that come from?
Why are we booking this?
Like, I can think back 97 when Kane was still alive. That storyline built for about a year.
Right.
And you're invested in it. Stone Cold versus McMahon went for ages. And you're invested in it.
Exactly.
I feel like you no longer are invested in a character and in a storyline. No. They just kind of book these matches and say, here you go, here's the match.
You're lucky if an angle lasts 3 months. That's a long angle.
Exactly.
That's
and I'll say some of that might be fans' faults too, because everyone's a hamster.
It's true, because we're kind of, you know. And hey, on a side note, before we get to your number one, what do you think about AEW? I mean, is this all hype or is this going to be real? We got this billionaire backer.
Here's the thing. Because I've heard this from friends of mine, and I have a good buddy of mine who's like, "Oh, it's just gonna be another Monday. There will never, ever, 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 ever be another Monday Night War."
Okay, wait, no.
I'll tell you why. Because there's so many other factors before you can just say let's say AEW comes out, they have a killer product. They already do. They have a great product. You know, that All In sold out. Right. But you have to think about the overall spectrum here. Like, why did the Monday Night Wars do so well? Because wrestling was a hot topic at that time.
That's true.
You know, people were into it. It's not nearly as popular now as it was in the late 90s.
No.
So and TV, you know, everybody and their mom that had a TV network wanted wrestling. It's not really as...
I think I think Monday Night right now maybe pops a 1.5 on the Nielsen ratings. Back then, they were each getting 4.5.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
so
9% of the
that right there plays into like the whole like, oh, is there going to be another Monday Night War?
But here's what I say: I don't know if you've heard this rumor or not, but I've heard the rumor is that they have the foundation now. They have the following. The one thing they don't have is TV rights. But who has control of old TNT again? Ted Turner. He has control again, and he loves wrestling. And the rumors is that they're going to try to strike a deal and put back on Monday night.
Yeah, but TNT. we also remember how WCW went, right? I mean,
yeah, well, for a little while though. I mean, but that's probably mostly because of Hulk Hogan going heel.
Well, no, I mean,
the biggest heel turn in history.
Here's the thing, like, this is like I said, my opinion. Would I love to see another Monday Night War? Absolutely. Right. I feel like I'm 5 years old again. But I just think realistically,
WWE's too big now.
Yeah, I mean, look, WWE has its own network. It's a billion-dollar company.
It's a publicly traded company now.
I mean, so you're
not gonna.
Do you really think the small independent? I mean.
Well, how much are they willing to lose? These guys are billionaires. How much are they willing to lose to make it win?
Right. I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
It is definitely an exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
It is. It's kind of like peaking up. Like, I kind of feel like the AEW thing has a little bit more legitimacy than like the TNA era.
Which is funny because like there were so many missed opportunities with Impact Wrestling. We could probably do like an hour-long podcast on that alone. I haven't even said my number one yet.
Yeah, let's get to your number one. Number one wrestler of all time,
The Undertaker.
Oh yes,
I was a huge fan of him ever since I was a little kid, and I know right now he's kind of a joke, but
he just doesn't know when to stop.
Right, he's become like the modern day Terry Funk. Yeah, I just said
kind of hang it up already.
But no, I feel like. He's my number one, just because like he is still to me a character-based wrestler.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be entertainment, and I think that's where people forget. Like, if you want to watch real people beat the crap out of each other, go watch MMA.
Right.
But this is entertainment, and I think people forget that sometimes.
So how do you think? Because he hasn't been inducted into the Hall of Fame yet. How do you think? Like, do you think he'll do a kayfabe like speech where he'll like, praise the Lord of the Dead, or is he actually going to be Mark Calloway and come out and, you know what I mean, like be a person? I think it's going to be maybe a mix.
I think it'll probably most likely be a mix.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like they've done a lot of kayfabe introductions for like the Four Horsemen. They're doing DX.
Yeah, when two of them are already inducted.
Yeah, so I can see they've done the NWO, but they also done Razor Ramon, but they also done Scott Hall. So I mean, at this point, I don't know. I mean, because I think honestly, like the whole WWE Hall of Fame thing is it's kayfabe anyways.
Yeah, it is. It's just a
popularity until they open an actual like Hall of Fame thing, or like then,
voting or something.
Yeah,
I think it's all decided by Vince, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure it is. At the end of the day, him and Triple H are the ones pulling the strings behind that.
Yep.
No, that's interesting. Though. So there you go. So we got our top threes in. So let's plug social media for FLAW.
Yeah, of course. FLAW has the Facebook, Instagram, FLAW Band. Also, we got a new record coming out. Hopefully by the end of March.
Sweet.
It's being mixed and mastered right now. All our tracks are done and whatnot.
Awesome. Last dates for this leg of the tour.
Yeah, right? We got tonight here at Frankies. Then tomorrow
2 or 3 more, I think.
Yeah, then tomorrow we're at the Music Factory in Battle Creek, Michigan. Then we head to Janesville to play the Back Bar, and then Route 20 in I want to say Racine, Wisconsin. I can't say it.
I think it's Racine. I was just saying that too long. Yeah, Racine.
But
close enough.
Yeah, but and then we're gonna take a few weeks off, and then I think we're literally like heading right back out in April.
You guys have been on the road for like a month and a half so far?
Something like that, yeah. We actually took like 3 months off before this ride.
Yeah, holidays and everything.
Yeah. Which is funny, like for me, like I'm personally, I'm obsessed with the touring. Like I love touring. I actually get like extremely bummed out when I look at the schedule. I'm like, what do you mean we're almost? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with my home life. No. I'm just like,
just the passion for
it.
Yeah.
This is what I was meant to do.
Right,
like,
exactly.
To tour. the rough, people are like, well, it's kind of a rough lifestyle. That's what I love about it, man.
It's like Lemmy, man. Like, one of my favorite bands is fucking all time, like, man, Motorhead. It's like, that's how Lemmy was. Like, Lemmy always, till the day he died, he just had a tiny little apartment, right next to the Rainbow or whatever, and everybody was like, why don't you have a nicer place? He's like, because I love the road.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, when you're gone so much out of the year, what's the point of really, like, luxurious living?
Right.
To me, being on that bus, traveling from place to place, playing shows, that's luxury to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And like, of course there's like those selective, there's like the handful that are like, oh, you sold out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, I'm not making a killing at this. I'm making enough to support my family.
Right. And do what you love.
And that's a bonus.
Right.
I've always said this, if you don't do this because you love it, then you shouldn't be doing it.
Just like anything, man.
Like,
you know what I mean?
I would never trade this for the world. Like,
that's just straight up. It's not work. If you love what you're doing,
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, well, Tommy, it was nice to meet you. Hope you guys have a good show tonight.
Awesome, thanks for having me.
And we will see you on the next Speak of the Devil podcast.